All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the new Pain Point webinar series. My name is Jessie Devine, and I'm the Community Engagement Manager at QuoteWerks. Our goal today is to dive into common business challenges that companies face when creating quotes and proposals. Today's webinar topic is tired of creating similar quotes over and over and over and over. This is obviously a very common pain point for so many of you, and this might be a very reason you chose to use QuoteWerks or are looking into a quoting solution. And we know your time is really valuable, so these webinars will be fairly short, from anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes. We want you to be able to apply these solutions right away, and we want these webinars to be as quick and efficient as what your quoting process is or will be. So, with every webinar, we're going to go over the quick agenda of what I'll be covering today. First, I'll be discussing the pain point, then moving to the solution. Then I'll show you a live demo of how to implement the solution right away, and at the very end, a Q&A. And I really want to encourage all of you to ask questions in the questions box. I'll circle back to the questions at the end of the webinar, and if for some reason I can't get to the questions, I'll be sure to follow up with an email or a phone call. Additionally, all of our webinars are recorded, so we'll send you a link of the webinar when we've uploaded it to our YouTube page or our videos page. And if you haven't done so already, we definitely recommend subscribing to our YouTube page so that you get notified anytime we upload a new training video, and that is pretty frequent. We also post a lot of new information on our social media sites, so please definitely follow us there. And in today's webinar, we will be covering the pain point of creating similar quotes over and over. And in the same theme, we hear managers and employees' major pain points are creating quotes from scratch. They don't like the format their sales reps are sending the quote. Their reps really don't know where to begin. These are all understandable frustrations that any business person would have. So what's the solution to this? How do we help fix these issues? So this is where document templates are really come in handy. Using templates is a really great way to save time and ensure consistency in your quotes, and really is the solution you need for these mentioned pain points. Document templates will automate a quicker, standardized, and seamless process for creating quotes. And as a side note, there are other ways that we can really help your sales reps, of course, by cutting in quoting and proposal time. And this particular topic is really about creating quotes over and over. But I do want to mention the notable features within QuoteWerks that might help your sales reps out. And I've included the help documentation chapters should you want to look into it further. But I just want to mention the bundles. Bundles are a great way of creating bundles. Allow you to specify a group of products to be added to your quote all at once without having to really manually remember to add each product. The configurator feature simplifies building a quote by presenting to the sales rep the list of products to choose from step by step. The list of products displayed at each step will be based on a previous selection, which makes it really easy. And finally, the Quote Valet shopping cart tool enables you to create online order forms for a customer. So instead of creating a quote at all, your customer can go directly to the shopping cart to submit the order. So these are really cool features, but they can all be a topic on their own. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for topics covering this in the future. So back to templates. Before I begin the live demo, it's really important that we distinguish the difference between a template and a layout. And this is oftentimes a word that people mix up when speaking to our support team, and understandably so. So in QuoteWerks' language, a layout is the output of your quote, the actual look and feel of your quote, and what your customers see. So the end product, the layout is really what is the final outlook of your quote. A template, however, is a pre-formatted starting point for a new document you are creating. Templates can be as simple or as complex as you want. So the pre-formatting starting point is what templates are. So with that clarification, let's show you how to create templates and ways you can utilize the templates to help alleviate the pain point of creating similar quotes over and over and over. We'll show you how to create the quote or create the document template, manage document templates, and use document templates. So these are all three very useful areas, and let's get into it. So let's have QuoteWerks open here, and let's begin creating our template. So I'm starting with a blank document. So by doing so, I just click New. I'm going to add some section headers to my quote because that's what I always like to do. So let's do optional for any optional items I might have. Some services if I have any, and products because that's what I'm going to be quoting. So let's add some, well, this alone actually could be a template. If you always have these headers, this is a great way to just start a template, but for the sake of the demo, I'm going to add a few more products. So let's go to our products button here and add a few products and make it a little bit more of an interesting quote. So I'm going to create a TV speaker set here. I'm going to add that, maybe some speakers to add to the quote. So selecting my header. I'm going to also add an accessory of a remote control under the products section. And of course, I want to add some sort of service to this quote. And let's add some 2 labor hours to the services. And finally, I want to add some optional warranty information to optional. And this is something I quote all the time. So definitely something I'm going to want to create a template for, because doing this over and over is not ideal. We can avoid it. So now I've added some of my optional items. We don't want to make our customer select all of these, so I'm going to make them optional on the quote. And I'm going to also make an exclusive group, which means that they can only select one of the 3 items on the quote. I'm going to label it warranty, and we're good to go. Now I want to note that you are not limited when you're creating a template to just the items and the services on your document items window. It is actually, you can actually go to the sale info tab, sold to, shipped to. Any of these tabs can be part of your document template, including your deliver, cover page layout, literature, and more. So we'll go through this step by step, but I do want to note that any of these links, tabs, and the deliver window, that can be defaulted in your document template. So for the sale info tab, I want to make sure that I have net 30 in my terms always. Oh, I definitely want some sort of payment selected. So I want credit card selected, but I also want to add e-check for this particular document template. So I want to make sure that that is always added. I can also add any of this information here to do. Tax rate is always 6% for this. And notes information, we can add information there, along with custom text information and links. And I know for this particular quote, I always want to make sure that the spec sheet is included. So I'm going to add this to the links tab. So once that I've added all of this information, I want to make sure that the deliver window is also going to include all the information that I want for this particular document. So I can go to the cover page, make sure that this simple cover page is always included. My layout, I want to make sure that my simple layout is selected. Literature, our about us information, and links tab information. So this is the format in which I want to make sure that the quote is going to be a document template every single time. So let's just preview it to make sure it looks just like we want it. Great. So now let's make it a template, and it's really simple. If you haven't been doing this before, you're going to say, what was I thinking? But all you have to do is go to File, Save as Template. And here you have an option to name your template. So I'm just going to call it TV Speaker Set 2020. And you have the option to also save it as a QuoteValet mobile template. If you're somebody that uses QuoteValet, that's our online quote delivery tool where you get notified when your customer views a quote, can accept and pay for it, but you also can actually create it in a mobile format where it's very template driven, but great if you have an iPad, you can create a quote on the fly. And this is where also that shopping cart feature I mentioned earlier, this creates a QuoteValet order form. So these checkboxes are really helpful. But for today, we're just going to save a regular document template and press OK. All right, so that is how you make a document template. Really simple. But how do you know that you saved the document template? It's really important to note that it says quote template in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So earlier when I was just editing a normal document, it's going to just say either quote, invoice, or order. But to know that it's a master template, it will say quote template on the upper right-hand side. So you might be asking now, how do you actually use a quote? Well, there are several ways to actually use a quote itself. Let me X out of this. First, to use a quote, you can go to the drop down right here on the new button. You might have never noticed that, but it's right there. You can just select your template from here, and it's going to bring up your template. And we have the TV Speaker Set 2020 here. The other way to open or use a template is go to File. Oh, sorry, I had to. Oops. There we go. Off the screen by mistake. File, New, and Template. So two very easy ways to get to the same place. All right, and now you might be asking yourself, now that you've created it, where do you manage them? So that is also another very simple thing. To access all of your master templates, just click the Open button, and there you'll see on the left-hand side, the Templates button, and this is where you can manage all of your master templates. You can delete them here. You can edit them for future use. The other option is, again, you could go to File, Open. Okay. So one of our cooler features that I do want to note is that that we recently added was to create a new document default with one of our templates that we've created. So every time your sales rep clicks the new button, instead of a blank window like we have right here, we can actually begin with a default template that you or they have chosen. So to do this, I'm going to close out of this. Go to Tools, My Preferences, Tools, My Preferences, then the Miscellaneous tab, second to last tab, and at the very bottom you'll be able to see New Document Defaults, and you can select from any of the templates that you've created here. So for today, I'm just going to select the TV Speaker Set, and you can see how easy it is. Every single time you create a new quote, this will pop up. So for example, earlier I said you could just have headers. Every time you have new, instead of starting with a blank quote, you can always start with headers, so you don't have to create those over and over again. But now that we know how to use templates, let's see how quickly we can to create a new quote from start to finish. Oh, and I did want to mention, sorry, anytime you do anything in My Preferences, this is a per user setting, not global. So make sure to let your reps know one by one if you'd like on how to change this setting. It is a per user setting. So let's start again, start a quote from scratch. We can just go to new, select template, TV speaker set 2020. And you'll be able to see, okay, I'm not using the master because on the upper right-hand side it says quote, which is perfect. So I want to make sure, okay, all my products that I selected are in there, which is great. I want to select my contact. I'm going to choose my coworker Ala here. Sales info tab, okay, credit cards, checked. Terms, all right, expiration date set. The links tab is in there. Okay, so now when I click deliver, wow, I don't have to select all that information. All that information that I pre-selected in my document template is already included. So all I have to do is upload the quote to Quote Valet. Again, this is our quote delivery tool where you can send the quote electronically. I'm going to save this. And let's look at the quote that I created. All right, so now you can see here, the quote's uploaded and ready to go. And make sure it looks correct. Okay, great. Quote's great. I have everything that I've selected for my document template. So now you can see how easy it is to use a template and how quickly and efficiently you can send the quote. While it may have taken seconds to create, your customer will think you spent a good amount of time to create this professional looking quote and will be very impressed. And as a reminder, I will be recording, this is a recorded session, so if you guys have any questions, definitely let us know in the questions box in the bottom right hand corner. I do want to go over quickly before we end today some of the resources that we have available to you. Let me get to the slideshow here. All right, so some of our resources that we have in QuoteWerks, we really pride ourselves on having amazing support, but we do want to let you know there is a handout with all of our resource information, so definitely keep that for future use. If you have any support questions, we're available to you. Sales questions, our team is available to you. But on our homepage, it's really easy to access the resources that we have. Just go to the support area at the very top, and on the drop down, you'll see our help documentation. We have over 200 videos on our videos page. We have live and recorded webinars like what I have here, in addition to a bunch of different services we have, from training to customization, and all of that is included in the handouts information as well. So I'll stop this recording, but do want to open up the chat for any questions that you may have. However, if you aren't sticking around for the Q&A, I just want to thank you for all attending today. You can reach out to me with any questions you may have, chat with me afterwards, or we can jump on a call if you'd like. Again, thanks everyone, and I'm going to stop the recording.